and welcome to building my first application using JavaFX series. My name is Angela Caicedo and I'm an Oracle Technology Evangelist. So let's start creating the application that I described in the introduction for this series. We're going to start from the scratch from an empty project. I'm going to be using for the whole project NetBeans IDE 7.1. So let's create a new application, JavaFX FX Application. Click Next. You can use any project name that you wanted. I'm just gonna use my C app. You can put it, the location could be anything that you want. Make sure that the create application class is selected. So this will create kind of a skeleton for your application and set as a main project. So what is going to happen if you have multiple projects that are open at the same time, the ones that get executed by default when you click the run button is the main project. So because we're going to be using this for the next step, for the next exercises, so I do suggest you to select the set as a main project. So this will be the main project, and every time we hit the run icon, we're going to actually execute this particular application. Click Finish. And then we're going to have my very first JavaFX application. We can expand it so we see the source packages, only one package, and my Java application. So this is actually your very first JavaFX application. So let's run it and see exactly what it does. So we hit the run, and again we have two applications open. The highlighted one is the default one, the main application. So this is the one that get executed. Okay, so this is your first Hello World kind of application. When you are creating your JavaFX application, you need to extend for the application class. So this is the first line that you will see. Because now we're back to Java APIs, you actually recognize the main method from Java applications. And to start the FX, we use the launch method from application class. We're going to provide with any parameters that you need. In this case, by default, we're just passing whatever we got in the Java main call. We just pass it to this launch call. When you run your application, there are a couple of things happening. So we do have a stage here. It's called the primary stage. The stage is a top-level container for your application. So everything, that window that you see here is your stage. And then we have what we call the scene. And this is your drawing area, the drawing surface of your application. So any UI component will be drawn on your scene. That is this white area right here. So what we have is we set the title for your stage, for your container, in this case Hello World, very simple. We create a button here in line 31 and we just set the text as say Hello World, and we define some events here. So we have your event, and what we're doing only is every time you click it, we're gonna just print out something on the output screen. In this case, it will be the console. We see more details how to define the events and the handlers later on in these exercises. So pretty much you click it and you will see the Hello World bit printed out in your console. Then you see here that we have a stack panel. The stack panel will lay out all the components in a back to front stack kind of container, and it will actually position all those components, all these children, following a specified alignment. So it could be in the center, it could be to the right or left. It's the predefined alignment that you can actually set. We are going to modify this later on because we do not want to have a predefined position. We want to actually place the component as we want it. So we're going to change the stack and we're going to turn it into a panel. We do that a little later. Then you have your panel and you add your button into your panel. So what is happening is in JavaFX, your UI component are actually rendered using a scene graph. So we have to define who is the root for that scene graph. In this case, it's gonna be this panel that we just created. What we're trying to do is add a component into it, and instead of overriding the existing one, we need to get the current children for that root and add it into those children. So that's what we're doing here in line 42. We get the children for root and we add into that children's the bottom. In this case, it's pretty trivial because there's no children's, we just created, but that's the way we're gonna do it. And then from your state, you have to set the scene, this drawing area. And in this drawing area, we need to give a scene. And the scene is created by passing the root component, the root element of the scene graph. In this case, it's going to be my stack panel. And we just provide an area that we're going to use for this scene, right? Finally, we show the stage. And this is what we have here, my Hello World, your very first application. So let's start doing some changes. So let's stop this. And the first thing that I want to do, I want to get rid of the button, because if you remember from the introduction, we're going to show an image. And I'm going to comment out this particular line. As we mentioned, we're not going to use stack panel. I don't want my components to be pre-positioned or aligned in any way. I do want to have control because we want to actually associate, bind the coordinates of my image to the mouse. So we see that later. So we're highlighting some errors, and if I go up here, some of the imports are not required anymore. So that's why they're highlighted in yellow. So NetBeans has a really nice feature that is, it will fix the imports for you. So you can right click in the background and select fix imports. It will remove anything that is not necessary and it will add the panel that we actually needed. Okay, so let's start defining the components. So we're gonna display an image. So we need an image view and we're gonna call it C0. Okay, it's highlighting again errors, fix import, right click, and you just have it. When the tool actually find more than one class with that particular name, is going to provide you with the different options. Make sure you select the one that is under the scene package. So make sure you have the scene image view. Okay, selected. Okay. Now, so far my application is pretty empty, so we do not have any resources. So let's create here a package called images, finish. And one cool thing about NetBeans is you have your favorite tabs. So let's add your favorites. So here in your project, we have some options. You have projects, you can see your file system, or you can see your services. We're going to bring some favorite. That is actually some pointers, some resources that you use very often. So you have them handy. So if I go to the window menu, you can actually select favorites. And right now I already have my JavaFX, but let's see how you actually bring something to your environment. So you have your favorite, you can right click to it and you select add favorite. What's going to happen is it's going to go to your directory and you can actually select which one you want to add it. So you can say added, nothing is going to change because it was already there. But the cool thing is here you will see your resources, your directory that you mounted in here. You have it handy for doing copy and pasting. So here we have some resources we're going to be using. So we have C0, this is the image, C1, another image from the C, and kind of yellowish one. We have a shark that we're going to be using, and we have the close icon. So we're going to select all of them, right click, and we're going to copy those. And I'm going back to my project and I'm going to paste it into the images package. Okay, so now we have all those resources available in my application. So let's go back to my program, and what we're going to do is we're going to create here C1, C0 equal. So we have a new, we have image. In NetBeans you have code completion, so you can click Control space and it will actually provide you with the choices that start in this case with IMA, and we have image view. Okay, you just double click. You're going to create an image view providing a new image. Again, Control space. We do want to provide with a constructor for this one. In this case, we want to provide with the input string, okay? And that particular input string is gonna be your resources. So we're gonna point to where C0 JPEG is. So we're going to get resources. So the resources can be taken through your class name. So C app dot class, so you select the class for your application, dot get resources as a stream, and then we provide with the string that we need. In this case, we're going into images slash and C0. Okay. Let's see, we must be missing something here. So I'm missing com, and that's it. Okay. So now we created, now we need to display, right? So we can go back to the scene graph, the root, and instead of adding the bottom, we're going to add Z0. We're going to leave the size of your window the same. And let's run it. So if everything goes okay, we should see an image now. So the same window. And then there we have my image, and I can actually stretch this, and you can see that it's a pretty long image. So the next step, what I want to do is I want to create a window. I want to clip the image. So you saw that it's a pretty big image, so we're going to create a rectangular area where you're going to see through it. So let's create that. So in this case, it's going to be a rectangular area. So we're going to create a rectangle, and it's going to call C0 clip. Okay. Then again, fix some imports, right click. Again, make sure you do not select the AWT rectangle, you need the FX rectangle, okay? Now we're going to define it, create it right here. So Z0 clip equal new rectangle, remember control space, and okay. And we are going to use this one where we provide the size of my rectangle, that is going to be 300 by 220, just a little smaller than your window. Then what I want to do is I want my rectangle to have rounded corners, so I can do this by calling the method set arc width, and let's provide it with 20, and also the height, control the space, it will actually finish it up for you. Okay, so pretty much that's it. So we create the rectangle and we set some properties for that particular rectangle. Now what I want to do is I want to set that rectangle as the clipping area for your image. So I'm gonna take C0 and we're gonna say set clip, should be one of the methods, and then it's gonna be C0 clip, control space. Okay, so we set the rectangle area as the clip area for C0, that is my image view. And then nothing needs to be added because what is actually being displayed is the image view. That's the UI component. So let's run it one more time. And now you can see your application. If we make it bigger, we're only seeing part of the image. Remember, we know the big image is underneath. We're just seeing through this particular clip, and we have the rounded areas. Now, I want to do something that I love about JavaFX. You can actually get rid. Sometimes you do not want to have this window around your application. You want your application to nicely blend with your background. So let's say I want to see this window kind of floating on my desktop. So I'm going to get rid of this window and this white background. So what I need to do is, of course, then we do not need a title for this, right? We're gonna get rid of the title and we're going to set the style. So we init the style, control space, init the style, and we're gonna use stage style, and there is one style that is actually transparent. So we want my window to be transparent, okay? Then I'm gonna separate because I want to have the scene that we're gonna use, that white area. I want it to be no. I want it to be transparent. I don't want to see any extra space. If there is no components, I don't want to see that. So because I'm going to set some properties of this scene, I'm just going to take it outside here. I'm just going to create it. So we're going to create the scene here. My scene, new scene. We're just going to create it exactly the same, right? We don't need any changes. 250. Okay. Then when we set the scene, we're just going to use that one we just created. Okay. And what I want to do is I want to change some properties of that scene, and is to set the filling, and in this case it's gonna be none. In that case, that means I do not want to have any filling. Okay. So let's try to run it again. And hopefully we don't have anything around it. So you see that we got rid of the window that we have, and we don't have any white background anymore. Just my component is being rendered. So it's good. The only problem that we have now is how I'm going to close it. So let's move into the next exercise, and we're going to play with events. To be able to close this application that is already running, we're going to use NetBeans for that. You can see here in the output window, you have this red area, red square. You can click it and your application will be terminated. Okay, so let's move into the next exercise.